What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel for some mind-blowing science experiments you can do right in your own kitchen. I'm talking about real-deal science that's gonna make you feel like a kid again. We're talking about stuff that fizzes, erupts, and maybe even glows in the dark. And the best part? You probably already have most of the stuff you need just lying around the house. So gather your beakers, or just some old cups and bowls, I don't judge, and let's get this science party started. Stick around to learn something cool and wow your friends with these awesome experiments.
Alright, first up we're going to turn ordinary milk into a swirling, twirling kaleidoscope of colour. This one is a classic for a reason, folks. It's super easy to set up, you probably have the stuff already, and the results are seriously impressive. For this experiment, you're going to need some whole milk food colouring. The more colours, the merrier. Am I right? Some dish soap and a few cotton swabs. Oh, and a plate or shallow dish to contain the awesomeness. Now listen up, because the magic happens fast. Pour some milk onto your plate, just enough to cover the bottom. Then add a few drops of each food colouring right in the centre of the milk. Don't mix it, we want those colours to stay separate for now. Alright, get your cotton swab ready, dip the tip into the dish soap. We just need a little bit, enough to coat the end. Now gently touch the soapy end of the swab to the surface of the milk, right in the middle of all those colours. Get ready for the show! Whoa! Did you see that? As soon as the soap touches the milk, the colours explode outwards like a firework display. It's like the food colouring is running away from the soap. But why does this happen? Well, milk is mostly made up of water, but it also contains fats and proteins. These fats and proteins are kind of like tiny little surfers floating around in the milk. When you add the soap, it disrupts the surface tension of the milk. Think of surface tension like a thin skin on the milk. The soap weakens that skin, and the fat molecules go nuts trying to get away from it. They bump and jostle the food colouring around, creating those awesome swirling patterns. It's like a microscopic mosh pit in your milk. Keep playing around, add more soap, try different colours. The possibilities are endless. This experiment is a super cool way to see how soap works on a molecular level. You see, soap molecules are attracted to both water and fat. One end of the molecule wants to hang out with water, and the other end is all about that fat life. So when the soap hits the milk, it tries to surround all those fat molecules, breaking them up and dispersing them throughout the milk. That's actually how soap helps us clean things. It grabs onto grease and grime and washes it away. Who knew something as simple as soap could be so fascinating, right? Science is all around us, even in a glass of milk. Next up, we're going to crank up the excitement with a classic experiment that's guaranteed to blow your mind. Get ready for the Baking Soda Volcano.
All right, everyone. Get ready for some explosive science because we're about to create a volcanic eruption right in our own homes. This experiment's a classic for a reason. It's got everything: bubbling, fizzing, and a satisfying eruption that's sure to impress. First things first, we need to gather our ingredients. And don't worry, this isn't some complicated chemistry set. We're talking household items here. You'll need some baking soda. White vinegar works best. Dish soap for extra foaminess, some food coloring for that lava effect, and a small bottle or container to be our volcano. Now let's talk construction. If you want to get extra creative, you can build a volcano shape around your bottle using clay, Play-Doh, or even just some aluminum foil. But honestly, even just the bottle alone will give you an awesome eruption. Alright, time to mix up our lava. In your bottle, combine a good amount of baking soda. I'm talking a few tablespoons at least. Then add a few drops of your favorite food coloring. Now here comes the fun part. In a separate container, mix together some vinegar and a squirt of dish soap. The dish soap is going to make our eruption extra foamy and bubbly. Give it a good stir to make sure it's mixed well. Okay, are you ready for this? Slowly pour the vinegar mixture into the bottle containing the baking soda and food coloring. And watch out, things are about to get messy. Boom! Just like that, you've got yourself a volcanic eruption. The mixture will fizz and bubble, overflowing from the bottle like molten lava. So what's the science behind this explosive reaction? Well, it all comes down to a chemical reaction between the baking soda, which is a base, and the vinegar, which is an acid. When they mix, they create a gas called carbon dioxide.
That carbon dioxide gas is what causes all those bubbles and fizzing you see. It's the same gas we breathe out, and it's what makes soda pop fizzy. The gas builds up pressure inside the bottle, and eventually, it's just too much for the bottle to contain. That's when you get the eruption. The gas escapes rapidly, carrying the colorful, soapy mixture with it, creating a mini volcano right before your eyes. This experiment is a super fun way to learn about chemical reactions and the power of gases. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good explosion? Now that we've conquered the volcano, get ready for our next experiment, where we'll be exploring the fascinating world of density. Now you might be thinking, won't all those liquids just mix together? And that's a great question. Each of these liquids has a different density. Density is how tightly packed the molecules are. Some liquids like honey are super dense. Others like oil are more spread out. When layered carefully, they stay separated. It's like an invisible force field holding them apart. Trust me, it's going to be epic. So grab your lab coats and let's get started.
Okay, so we've got our liquids all prepped and ready to go. Remember, the key to a successful density tower is all about that layering action. We're going to start with our densest liquid, which in this case is our good friend honey. Carefully pour a nice, even layer of honey into your clear container. We want a good base for our tower, so don't be shy.
Next up, we're going to add our dish soap. Now this is where things get a little tricky. We want to avoid mixing the layers, so we're going to use a little trick. Slowly pour the dish soap over the back of a spoon. This will help it gently glide onto the honey without causing too much disturbance. See, we're not just mad scientists here, we're artists too. Now repeat the same spoon trick for the rest of our liquids, going in order from densest to least dense water, then oil, and finally, rubbing alcohol. Each layer should be distinct and separate, creating a beautiful rainbow of density. If you're feeling extra fancy, you can even add a drop or two of food coloring to each layer to make it really pop.
Alright, take a step back and admire your handiwork. Isn't that density tower just mesmerizing? It's like a lava lamp, but way more scientific and way less likely to start a fire hazard.
But why do the liquids stay separated like that? Well, it all comes down to, you guessed it, density. Remember how we talked about density being how tightly packed the molecules are in a substance? Well, denser substances have more mass packed into the same amount of space.
Think of it like this. If you had a box full of feathers and a box full of bricks, which one would be heavier? Obviously the bricks, right? That's because bricks are much denser than feathers. The same principle applies to our liquids. Honey is denser than dish soap, which is denser than water, and so on. So when we layer them, the denser liquids sink to the bottom because gravity pulls on them more strongly. And the less dense liquids? Well, they've got no choice but to float on top. It's like a liquid game of Tetris, but instead of losing, you end up with an awesome science experiment.
Alright, science fans. For our next experiment, we're gonna need some everyday household items to make something truly groovy, a DIY lava lamp. First up, grab yourself a clear bottle. A plastic one works great, but if you're feeling fancy, a glass one will do the trick too. Just promise you'll be extra careful, alright?
Next, we gotta wrangle some liquids. Plain old water is our base, and for the lava effect, we're going with vegetable oil. You know, the stuff you use to make those delicious home-cooked fries? Perfect.
Now, this wouldn't be a lava lamp without some vibrant colors, right? So pick out your favorite food coloring. Go wild, get creative, maybe even mix a few to make your own custom shade.
Lastly, the ingredient that brings the magic Alka-Seltzer tablets. These fizzy friends are the secret sauce to making our lava lamp bubble and groove. You can usually find them at the drugstore, right next to the antacids. And hey, if you're feeling under the weather later, you'll have some on hand. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Alright, double check your supplies. A clear bottle water, vegetable oil, food coloring, and Alka-Seltzer tablets. Once you've got everything, it's time to get this lava lamp party started. Okay, let's build this lava lamp. First things first, fill your bottle about 3/4 full with the vegetable oil. We want plenty of room for that lava action.
Now, carefully pour water into the bottle, leaving about 1 inch or 2 of space at the top. you'll notice that the water sinks right through the oil and settles at the bottom. That's because water is denser than oil, meaning it's more tightly packed together. Pretty cool, huh?
Time to add a splash of color. Squeeze a few drops of your chosen food coloring into the bottle. Watch as the color slowly makes its way through the oil, forming mesmerizing little droplets before finally mixing with the water at the bottom. It's like an underwater fireworks show.
Now for the grand finale, the Alka-Seltzer. Break one tablet into a few smaller pieces. This helps control the bubbling action. Drop a piece into the bottle and observe the magic unfold. The tablet reacts with the water, releasing tiny carbon dioxide bubbles that attach themselves to the colored water blobs and carry them up through the oil.
Keep an eye on the reaction. Once the bubbling starts to slow down, toss in another piece of the tablet to keep the lava flowing. Isn't this awesome? It's like having a mini volcano of color right in your own home. This experiment isn't just mesmerizing, it's also a fantastic demonstration of density and chemical reactions. Remember how the water and oil separated? That's because they have different densities. The denser water sinks to the bottom, while the lighter oil floats on top. But here's where the Alka-Seltzer comes in. When it hits the water, it creates a chemical reaction that releases carbon dioxide gas. These gas bubbles are lighter than both the water and the oil, so they rise to the top. As they travel upwards, they pick up blobs of colored water, creating that awesome lava lamp effect. Once the gas bubbles reach the surface, they pop, and the colored water, no longer buoyed by the bubbles, sinks back down to the bottom. And the cycle repeats, creating a mesmerizing dance of color and bubbles. It's science in action, folks. So there you have it, your very own DIY lava lamp, powered by simple science. It's a fun, easy, and educational experiment you can do right at home. And hey, it makes a pretty cool decoration too.
Alright, secret agents and puzzle solvers, get ready for some serious espionage action with our next experiment, Invisible Ink. We're about to unlock the power of secret messages hidden in plain sight. And the best part? All you need are some simple supplies you probably already have lying around the house. First up, grab a lemon. Yep, you heard that right, a plain old lemon. We're talking about the kind you squeeze into your lemonade on a scorching summer day. This juicy fruit holds the key to our invisible ink adventure. Next, you'll need something to write with. A cotton swab works perfectly for this, acting as our trusty invisible ink pen. You can also use a paintbrush or even a toothpick if you're feeling adventurous. Just make sure it's something that can hold a bit of lemon juice. And finally, no secret message is complete without a surface to write on. Grab a sheet of white paper, the kind you use for printing out your homework or doodling your next masterpiece. Now that we have our secret agent toolkit assembled, let's dive into the exciting world of invisible ink. Time to put our lemon juice to work and create some top secret messages. Cut the lemon in half and squeeze some juice into a small bowl. Dip your cotton swab in the juice. Write your secret message. Let it dry completely. The message will be invisible. Heat the paper to reveal it. And that wraps up our 5 awesome science experiments you can do at home. We've seen milk dance, volcanoes erupt, liquids defy gravity, lava lamps come to life, and secret messages revealed. Which experiment was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. We had a blast exploring the wonders of science with you today. Remember, science is everywhere, and it's all around us. So keep experimenting, keep asking questions, and never stop exploring the world with a curious mind. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing science videos. Until next time, stay curious.